You know, when someone gets a life-altering diagnosis, it can feel like the story's over, right? Like the book is just slammed shut. But today, we're going to look at a totally different perspective. One that sees it not as an ending, but as the start of a brand new chapter.
So let's just put that question right out there. What if that moment, the moment you're told life will never be the same, is actually the moment you get to decide what it's going to be like from now on your own terms?
And let's be real, that initial shock is completely valid. This quote just nails that feeling, doesn't it? That sense of being totally unprepared, like all your plans have just been wiped off the board. It's that feeling of life screeching to a halt.
Okay, so to really get into this, let's follow one person's incredible journey. It's a story that perfectly shows the path from that initial shock to a place of real empowerment.
So, this is Alexander Reed. Before all this, he was a super busy business consultant. And then, at 47 years old, he got the diagnosis that changed absolutely everything. Now, this timeline here, it shows us a huge turning point. For 3 whole years, he tried to just ignore his Parkinson's, to keep living like nothing had changed. But then, in that 4th year, something just clicked. He made a choice. If his life was going to change, he was going to be the one calling the shots.
And this right here, this is the why behind everything he did. He knew exactly what it felt like to be left in the dark after a diagnosis. You hear those words, "See you in 6 months," and it leaves this huge empty space. So he created a center to fill that space, to give a real, hopeful answer to that terrifying question. So, what do I do now? So how do you take a personal mission like that and turn it into something that can help everyone? Well, this wasn't about building just another clinic. It was about creating a whole new philosophy for living with a condition.
And wow, just take a look at this. This gives you a real sense of that philosophy in action. The center is literally inside a wellness spa in the Italian Alps. I mean, look at that setting. The environment itself is part of the therapy. It's a place designed to make you feel well, to treat people, not patients.
Okay, so at the heart of all this is their patented regen protocol. Even the name, regeneration, tells you it's about a new beginning. It's this complete framework that changes the goal from just, managing symptoms to actively getting back control and finding some real hope.
So what's the secret sauce? Well, it's all built on these 4 pillars that work together. First up, of course, is medicine. That means staying on top of the absolute best treatments available. But that's just the start. The second pillar, and this is huge, is physical activity. And we're not talking about just going for a jog. This is highly specific stuff, like specialized physiotherapy, hydrotherapy in these amazing thermal pools, and balance training, all designed to fight back against Parkinson's effects. Third is lifestyle. Building those healthy daily habits with food, sleep, and stress that really support your body and mind. And finally, number 4, psychological well-being, giving you that emotional support to stay tough and motivated. It's like building a solid foundation for a house, not just trying to patch up cracks as they appear.
All right, so this brings us to what might be the most powerful idea in this entire approach. It all comes down to choice and your mindset.
Just look at the words on this slide. It's so stark, isn't it? It lays out the 2 paths you can take. Are you a victim of a disease, or are you the protagonist of your own life story? Are you a patient or a person, chronically ill or living with a condition? The way we talk about ourselves, the words we use, it matters a lot.
And look, this isn't just some nice, feel-good idea. It's actually backed by solid research. The Parkinson's Outcomes Project found that the #1 thing that impacts quality of life is your mood, your emotional state. Not the physical stuff, but how you feel about your situation. That's the game changer. I love this analogy that Alexander Reed uses. He talks about it being like switching trains. A lot of people get on this new, slower train, and they just spend the whole ride wishing they were back on the fast one. But there's another option. You can actually choose a seat, look out the window, and realize that a slower journey lets you see the world in a totally new way, maybe even a richer one.
Okay, so what does this actually look like day to day? How do you really redefine quality of life? Well, it boils down to 2 things: control and living in the moment.
Think about it. For someone with Parkinson's, something as simple as buttoning a shirt can become this huge struggle. And how a loved one reacts in that moment, well, it can either take control away or give it right back. This line, it comes from a story about Reed and his wife, and it is just perfect. See, if she jumps in and does the buttons for him, the message is, you're helpless. If she does nothing, it feels like she doesn't care. But saying this, love, if you need me, I'm here, that's everything.
It offers support, but it doesn't take away his power. He stays in control. He gets to decide if and when he asks for help.
Reed shared this thought after his daughter's wedding. He realized he was so caught up worrying about the future that he almost missed one of the most beautiful days of his life happening right in front of him. And that's the point, isn't it? Living fully means being here, now, not getting lost in what used to be or what might happen.
So, if you're going to take away a few key things from all of this, here they are. First, yeah, Parkinson's will change your life. But second, and this is the big one, you get to choose what changes to make. Remember, your mood is the single biggest factor in your quality of life. And finally, just try to focus on today.
So let's end with this thought, this one final question. Your life is going to change. That's true for everybody, diagnosis or not. The only real question is this: who gets to decide what those changes are going to be? Who's in the driver's seat of your life?